let's see how this goes. This is the first time that I'm live streaming from my new apartment, so I'm still working out like where to put a backdrop and audio and everything like that. So let me know how it sounds, if it's too loud, garbled, or anything like that, and we'll kind of figure it out as we go on. Alright, so let's get started. Basically, this is just because I've been taking apart Theed and it's kind of just, it's just boring. And I'm at the point where I want to do something else. And I got this set as a reward or like award, I guess, gift. There's a weird background noise. Let's figure that out. It could be just the fan from my computer, but let me check that out. It could also just be the connections of the microphone. The wire I'm using is like from my computer, but let me check that out. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's still there, but it's like it's a little bit of a buzz, at least on my phone when I watched it, but it's not terrible. I mean, when I'm like talking or like building or doing anything, you don't really hear it that much. So I'm just gonna roll with it. Basically, as I was saying, yeah, I'm just gonna build this. It was like an award that I got at Brick Fair, Virginia, and I haven't had a chance to just sit down and build anything really since I got back from Brick Fair, because basically immediately after I got back, I moved into this apartment, as I mentioned. So just gonna build this, kind of try to just enjoy building something. As I said, I'm dismantling Theed, and it's just a pain. So yeah, let me find a knife to open this up. So what's up, Emil? How you been? This has the thumb tabs, but I hate using those because it like destroys the box. So I always just cut through. Let's see. Haven't really sat and built a set in a long time. I don't really buy sets that much anymore, because at this point I just build either somebody else's custom version or make my own. And the only time I ever really buy sets is for like the minifigures. And at this point, it's so much cheaper and better to just buy the minifig from Bricklink, because then you're just getting whatever it's actually worth instead of, paying for the entire set. So. Alright, anyways. So 3 bags. This is a TIE Fighter. I'm actually kind of glad that I got this, because I never would have went out and bought it. but it comes with some really nice figs. Like the TIE Pilot is really, really nice, and also the Imperial Droid. So the newer Stormtrooper helmet mold, not really that much of a fan, to be honest. But I do like the TIE Pilot helmet, and then the droid looks really nice. So good. Got to bed late last night being on Jay's stream. Do you plan on getting the Ghost though? Oh yeah, I tuned into that for a few minutes, but as for the Ghost, it is a really, really nice set. There we go. Yeah, the Ghost is a really nice set. It looks so much better than the original one they released for Rebels. But I don't know, what is it, like 80 bucks? Actually, I think it's more. I think the Jedi Shuttle is 80. I think the Ghost is like 110 or something. So I probably won't end up getting it unless I get it for, you know, like a Christmas or birthday present or something like that. But I don't know. It's hard for me to justify, you know, going out and spending that kind of money on a Lego set. It just that one actually does look pretty good on display though, so maybe, I don't know. But the Resistance transport with old Leia and Akbar used but in great condition, like 10 out of 10 for 30 bucks. Dang, that's pretty good. Resistance transport. Oh, old Leia. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a pretty cool set. I think that did that. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else. But is that the one that came with the teal astromech droid, or was that a different one? That might have been a different one. Pitch this camera down. Yo, Jordan, what's going on, dude? How's that? Yeah, that's a little better. Yes. The TIE Pilot. Yeah, this guy's sick. I like this because this is still like the same TIE Pilot mold they've been using for almost 10 years at this point. So let's see what if we can get this thing up on. It's really nice, honestly. It's like the advanced pilot, like it has the stripes going down the front of the helmet, which looks really nice, and it's like actual realistic, which is cool because up until now the only TIE Pilot I've had is the Rebels version, I think, which obviously the helmet is different and all the torso like printing and detailing and everything is like not, you know, not really up to par with the regular you know, realistic movie versions. But closing out the day, chatting with Jared in the background. Okay, understandable. Nope, it's the ship where in the movies C-3PO comes out with the red arm, not in the set though, sweet fig. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I think I don't know what that was from. It might be, maybe that was, okay, yeah, the one that you got is from The Force Awakens. The one I'm thinking of is from the Rise of Skywalker or whatever. And yeah, the polybag C-3PO is sick. Although the one that has the dual molded gray leg and like the side printing is so sick. I want to get that thing eventually. At this point I have like nothing to use it for, so I'm not probably gonna go out of my way to get it. I'm confused. Already on the second step. I'm confused. Somebody bought it at Brick Fair, so I got to like see it in person. The one with the side of the leg printing, and dude, it's a nice fig. I don't know how much it goes for, but at some point I'll probably track one down and try and get it for myself. The one I got had a retail of $70 back in the day. Crazy. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. In my expert opinion, is Ahsoka worth watching? Um, I think it's worth watching if you've seen Rebels, because there's a lot of characters from Rebels. Although, in my opinion at least, the characters don't really act like the Rebels, like they did in Rebels, so that they almost kind of feel like different characters, not even the characters from Rebels. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence with Ahsoka. There's only 2 more episodes, and the last two were pretty good. The first, like the way it started out, was a little rocky. I'm not the biggest fan of Sabine in the show, and Hera doesn't really feel like Hera to me. Um, but the new characters they introduced, Ray Stevenson's character, um, Balin Skull or whatever, the like Dark Jedi, is really cool. He's probably my favorite character in the show. So, I mean, honestly, I would just wait until all the episodes are out and then just watch it whenever you have time to just like sit and watch the entire thing. It's not really worth, in my to me, it's not really worth like sitting waiting a week in between to figure out what happens and then just kind of get like, oh, that was okay, I guess, but wasn't really worth, waiting an entire week to see what happens. So, it also depends if you're like really into Star Wars or not, because obviously I'm like really into Star Wars, so at this point I'll watch pretty much whatever Star Wars puts out just to get the experience and see if there's anything in there that I like. There are definitely parts of Ahsoka that I like, and like I mentioned, the characters, the new characters anyway, that they introduced, I am a big fan of. The older characters, not so much, but you know. So that's a long-winded way of saying kind of, I guess. I've seen a lot of people like really like Ahsoka, and I'm still not really, kind of on the fence with it, to be honest. I'm not like, there's some people that say it's the best piece of Star Wars content we've gotten since Disney took over. I definitely disagree with that. I think Andor is much better, just from like a Star Wars show, but also just a TV show. The production and storytelling is so much better in Andor than in Ahsoka, but you know, could go on for hours about that subject. But one of my coworkers at my job is like just as into Star Wars as I am, so every time there's a new Ahsoka episode, we'll just kind of sit and just talk about it and kind of roast it a little bit, but definitely certain parts of it that are cool that we can appreciate. Andor is better, yeah, but Ahsoka may be better than Mando season 3. That's not saying much. No, it is not. Oh my gosh. Mando season 3 was so bad. Like, I know some people liked Mando season 3, like my brother really liked it. He called me and we talked about it, and I was just like at a loss at how he could enjoy it, but I don't know. Mando season 3 for me was like, I was just, there's points where I was watching it, like the episode where they were on the old separatist planet with the battle droids, and the B2 battle droid was just like running and doing parkour. I was literally just sitting there like with my mouth open, just laughing out of just pure shock at what I was watching. But yeah, Ahsoka's definitely better than that, but it's not anything super special in my opinion. I think it's also just a little bit jarring going from like an animated um, TV show, where obviously certain things are different just because it's an animated show that's meant for a younger audience, and then going into a full like adult, I guess, kind of live action TV show. But I don't know. Mando season 3 was rough. Mando season 3 was some of the worst Star Wars to me. I have to agree. I mean, the entire season was like, there's no real clear objective other than, I guess, taking back Mandalore, even though the entire time they think that it's a cursed planet that you can't even survive in atmosphere. So who exactly are they taking it back from? It's not like they knew the Empire was there. They're just taking it back from nobody. So all they have to do is just go. But then they go and then they find out that the Empire's there, but it's like, it doesn't, it's a lot of circular reasoning that doesn't work. This is the first TIE fighter I've built since the Inquisitor's TIE fighter from Rebels in like 2014 or whenever that set came out, which was a great set. I got that as a gift for my birthday, and that was such a good set. It was not even on my radar because at that point I didn't like Rebels at all. Didn't end up watching Rebels until a few years after it came out, but that was a good set, I have to say. So we'll see how this one holds up compared to that. I mean, it's honestly not a terrible looking TIE fighter. My main issue is just the inside of the wings being all the like anti-studs, but I kind of just have to accept that at this point. Lego's not gonna do like snot wings or anything, so probably the best looking TIE fighter we've gotten though, to be honest. It's also close to minifig scale because all of the other TIE fighters are so big. I feel like I'm really bad at building Lego sets now. I'm so like out of practice of having to follow instructions and just like look where I'm going and make sure I'm not skipping steps. It's kind of a weird feeling. Thought the beginning was slow for Ahsoka, but that might be because I already knew a lot of the characters, and I agree Baylan is one of the best characters, definitely. And I feel the change in the Rebels characters makes sense, like Hera as a mom, Ahsoka has to grow to become Ahsoka the White, and so on. Yeah, initially I really did not like Ahsoka. Like when she showed up in Mando, I like absolutely hated it. She looked really off. She acted completely differently, and like I didn't like it at all. But in this, I can kind of like I can accept it. Like it might just be because the rest of the characters are so awful that I'm just willing to, move on from my Ahsoka rants. But I also feel like Ahsoka is such an overhyped character. But at this point, I guess I can kind of understand like where she's coming from. She's older, and that obviously takes a toll, and the amount of stuff that she's seen happen in the galaxy. I can kind of get past that. As for Hera, though, like, Hera was always the mom of the group, anyways, so it's not like that much changed. I mean, she always, stuck her neck out for her crew members, and it's not like Sabine and Ezra were old when they joined the crew. Like, they were pretty young kids, so it's not that much of a difference going from, being the mom of the crew to just having your own kid. I mean, there is a little bit of a difference, but they were pretty much a family, so it's, I don't know. I think it's just a weird change. She also doesn't really take responsibility for anything. She kind of is just like, oh yeah, we're breaking protocol, blah blah blah, whatever, I'll figure it out. Like, she doesn't, there's no sense of authority with her character anymore, which was kind of the main thing in Rebels. She was the one that when she said something, you just have to listen because that's just who she was. But in this, it doesn't really feel that way. She also doesn't feel nearly as old as Ahsoka. Like, she should be pretty much Ahsoka's age, but she feels like she's 10, 15 years younger. So that kind of threw me off too, but really love I really love movies in general, and I'm always really critical, but when talking movies and ranking my favorite stuff, I always take out Star Wars, and I will always be biased no matter what. Because nostalgia and just being in this hobby. Yeah, that's definitely true. Whenever I think of, or when someone like asks what my favorite movie is, I never say Star Wars because it's just not really fair. Obviously, Star Wars is, you know, my favorite. It's what I've spent the most time thinking about and talking about, and it's just at this point what I've kind of latched onto. But I'm also not really. I don't really watch that many movies, so it's kind of hard when I get asked to think of something on the spot because I don't really have just like a go-to favorite movie. I do really like some of the Pixar animations and like DreamWorks. Like Wall-E is such a good movie. It's just a masterpiece. And Up is really good. But like most of those are like Kung Fu Panda, like all of those, the storytelling and writing is so good, and the character development, you just like grow to love the characters by the end of them. And then I don't really know for like real acted movies with, you know, live action cast. I do like Inception a lot. That's kind of one of my go-tos that I'll always show people that haven't watched it. I'll always, you know, recommend Inception, but I feel like there's also just a ton of movies that I don't even remember watching, but when I see them again, or if I get reminded of them, then I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that. But I'm not really a movie-minded person, so it doesn't really come to mind. Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, I've heard that one is good, but I have never watched it. I've most like half of the day at work is just my coworkers like making some reference and being like, "Surely you get this reference," and I'm like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about," and they get like their faces drop because I just don't watch movies. Duchy of Gardonia. What's going on, dude? How are you, Catalyst? I'm pretty good. This is one of the first days off I've had in a while. Most of my weekends, because for my job, basically, it's not seasonal. I mean, it is primarily seasonal. It's making props and doing like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but most of what it is making like pumpkins or like displays for certain, you know, businesses or places that want to have some kind of holiday display to, you know, drive people to go to the whatever it is they have. Like the Bronx Zoo is one of the clients that we're working for right now. So most of the, you know, crunch time is holiday related, and most of it is like Halloween. So right now is like very, very busy at my job. So most weekends I've been working. So this is the first Saturday that I've had off in, I don't know, 2 months or something like that. So it's the first day I've actually just had nothing to do during the day to just like sit and build, which is also kind of why I'm building the set. Because I've just not had a chance to do that in recent memory. You deserve it. Thank you. I enjoyed Mando Season 3, but I guess that's just me. Dude, honestly, it might be. Every single person that I've talked to has just hated it. Or not. There's a few people that were like, yeah, it was definitely the worst, but it wasn't horrible. I really did not like it. Whenever I think of Mando, I don't even think of Season 3 at this point. I just think of season 1 and season 2 because I remember distinctly each episode and what happens because they were so good. And season 3 is just a blur, all jumbled together. I don't even remember half of what happened in that. Alright, so this looks like the base. This is the back, probably. And then obviously the cockpit where this dude's gonna sit. I do have the instructions to Jarek's TIE Fighter, so eventually I'll probably build that because that thing is sick. But this thing is pretty good, I'd say, for a Lego set anyway. It's definitely one of the better looking ties that we've seen. Mando's good, but I mean Ahsoka is so boring. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I feel like Mando was, I don't want to say it was a fluke, but it certainly feels like it, and or is definitely good. Mando, I think season 1 just hit the spot, and I'm not really sure if Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni really understand what made it hit the spot and why it was so good. Because season 2 was also pretty good, but I think they kind of got carried away with the amount of like bringing other existing characters back. Yeah, like this is unacceptable, this section here. If I was making this, like if this was a, a mock or something like that, this like gap that they have between this dish and this piece right here, that's just, that's really bad. Really bad. Ahsoka definitely is slower paced, which can be fine if it's done right. I'm just waiting at this point to see how the season wraps up to give any final judgments, but as of what we've seen right now, I would classify it as okay. It's not anything spectacular, but it's also not as bad as like Mando season 3. Set uses a lot of studs and 1x1 plates to fill in gaps, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think Lego should do more Rogue One sets. I totally agree. Unfortunately, I think the way Lego operates is they'll kind of do sets on what is currently being produced. Like they'll make sets on Ahsoka because it's out right now. But once that ship has sailed, once they finish the season, until at least season 2 comes out, probably won't see any more Ahsoka. And I don't think we're gonna see really any more Mando sets. I think they kind of just build sets based on what is happening right then, except for like original trilogy or even some prequel sets, but usually for like TV shows or spin-off movies, they'll just kind of do a line when that's coming out and when it's popular. So that kind of sucks though, because I do really like Rogue One. I miss the Rogue One Stormtroopers. Those were my favorites. I have a pretty decent collection. I have like 10 of them. Should get more though. That's it's weird because I don't even really use Stormtroopers all that much, but every time I go to a yard sale at a convention, I always just look for Rogue One Stormtroopers. That's just what my mind immediately goes to. See if anybody's selling Rogue One Stormtroopers. I'm glad there's no more sequel sets, dude. So am I. It was honestly, it was kind of hard during the time that the sequels were coming out because the entire wave of Lego sets would just be stuff that I would not be interested in. Like I just there was nothing for me in any of those sets. I ordered on eBay the ATAP, which I'm so mad about this now. But I ordered the ATAP from 2014. And it came with Commander Gree, and it was such a cool set because I was making a Kashyyyk back before I started doing YouTube. But I ordered that set on eBay, and then they shipped me on accident the First Order Transport, which was a much higher value. So I was like, oh, this is great. I just lucked out, got a bigger set, blah, blah, blah. And I'm so upset because it's so lame. Like, I would so much rather have all of those figures, the ATAP, than the First Order Transport. I have, like, I don't know, like 4 First Order Troopers, and some of the figures were cool from it. Like, I liked the heavy First Order guy that had, like, the bandolier and all the extra ammo pouches. It was cool, but I wish I wish I had just kept the ATAP. I think that's the only sequel set that I actually bought. I got the worst Star Wars set ever made, the headless ATSD, as a gift, but that was the only one that I kind of bought because I chose to keep it, whatever. What's up, Owen? Does kind of suck though. Like, I like that they do sets based, like a whole wave based off the same thing when it's good sets, like the 2013 wave where it's all the episode 2 Geonosis sets, and then the 2014 when it was all the Revenge of the Sith sets. That was so cool because I love I love those locations and the clones and all of that. So when I was a kid, that was like fantastic. But now, when they're coming out with sets and movies and TV and all that stuff that I'm not really all that interested in, it kind of sucks because you wait a year just to get a set that you might be interested in. Here's the head. This guy's pretty cool. Oh gosh, his head did not want to go on. Definitely pretty cool. It is a little jarring, the detailing being the like bright silver color. It's so shiny. It looks pretty cool when it's kind of in shadow like this, but when the light hits it, it's so bright compared to the black. And then the wires, the blue and red and yellow wires are pretty cool, and the legs are actually kind of cool. You could use those for Darth Vader almost. But it's pretty cool. I do like the fact that I have one of these droids because you can kind of stick them in whatever random Imperial bases or things that you have going on, and they kind of just blend in. Imperial Sap Refinery on Felucia. That is an idea that I have not heard before. Is that something that Felucia is known for, the sap refineries? What would Felucian sap even be used for? These are questions that we may never get the answers to. Miss those kind of waves. Yeah, I feel like that's why a lot of people still, and I'm kind of included in this, will still say that Lego Star Wars peaked in 2013, 2014. Because that's when we got some of the best Lego Star Wars sets. That was like all of the realistic versions of the clones and the Anakin Skywalker from, I think, 2014, where he doesn't have the burn marks, or he's not wearing his microphone or headset or whatever for being a pilot. That head is worth a lot of money, and that figure is worth even more. Like, just because they don't make realistic versions of half those characters anymore. Do I own any UCS sets? I do have the Slave one, which is probably my favorite Lego set ever, which is over on display on a shelf, but I'm gonna get better shelves because I want to have more like actual room to display stuff. So I have the UCS Slave 1, and then I have the UCS ATST, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have the stand because I got that. That was kind of, it was definitely cool, but it was a little weird. We got that from one of my dad's friends from work, I think. He just gave it to us, which was really sick. But I still have that thing, which is pretty cool. Definitely gonna keep that on display because it's just one of those sets that you don't ever really see. It was just kind of a weird set to make, to be honest. Like, it's a huge ATSC. You can't really use it for anything except for display. So it doesn't come with the plaque, which kind of stinks, but the set build is still pretty cool. So I have that one and the Slave one, and I'm trying to get the AT-AT, the huge $800 one, but I'm going to try and get that as a gift because I can't justify spending $800 on Lego. Just not at that point in my life yet. I mean, Felucia has a lot of vegetation, and I guess Kashyyyk has a refinery in Survivor. Yeah, they had it in Fallen Order too. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. Like, what does the refined sap do? Like, can you use that as a fuel? I don't know if they ever really covered that. They might have in a cutscene with Saw Gerrera or something, but I never really paid attention to it. Looks like we're onto the wings here. All of these wedges are the same. There we go. Yeah, I definitely want to get the AT-AT. I'm going to try and get that as a gift. And then once I have that, there's so many huge projects that I could think of to do with it. So many bucket list items that I've always dreamt of. I still want to, and Sullust is like my thing that I always go back to. I don't even know why, because Sullust is not, like, I don't know. I would never say Sullust is one of my favorite planets, but when it comes to building stuff, I always refer back to the Battlefront 2015 Sullust maps. They're just, I don't know, they're just so sick. I want to do a mix of the Walker Assault with the huge hangar that the AT-ATs walk by the lava river, and then the Sulphur Fields maps from the droid run or whatever it is, and then also the survival mode. Those are so sick. The layouts of the maps are just so cool. There's so much height, elevation, and all of that stuff is just really fun to build. Plus it has in the droid run, I don't even, is that the name of it? I don't even remember what the name of it is anymore. The droid game mode. I think it might be droid run, but anyway, the top of that has the Lambda shuttle parked, and I still just would love to have a minifigure scale Lambda shuttle. There's so many things that I would love to build from the 2015 Battlefront. So nostalgic for that game. I've yet to spend more than $200 on a set. I would love to have the AT-AT, but I just can't justify spending it unless I would use it in a mock. Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm at. I think the most expensive set in my collection is the Slave one, which was a combined birthday and Christmas present when I was a kid. I was like, I want this thing so bad because Boba Fett is my favorite character. So I was like, I have to have this. This is the coolest thing ever. So I sacrificed my birthday and Christmas presents combined to get it, but it was definitely worth it because it's my favorite set that I've gotten. It's probably my favorite set that Lego's ever made, to be honest. You should make some of those training competition trap rooms from the Racco Hardin arc. Dude, I have thought about that. The box. It's just so many of those characters aren't made that it would be very difficult to make those scenes because there's the Obi-Wan, which I don't think came with the helmet, but they made the Obi-Wan with the horrible Clone Wars faces, and then obviously they have like Cad Bane's, but half of those aliens have never been made, so then it kind of sucks because like how do you populate those mocks or the scenes? I always feel like I'm missing steps. But those were sick. I remember watching those in Clone Wars for the first time, and I was just so into it. Because we never really get to see bounty hunting in Star Wars, like from the actual bounty hunter's perspective. That's why Mando at first was so cool. And then the episodes where Ventress had to become like a mercenary because she got ditched by Count Dooku. Those were sick. Solus would be dope. Dude, that's what I'm saying. I've had that ever since I started playing that game. I've just had that vision in my mind to just one day make it just... That would be like my biggest project ever, I think. Because there's so much that you could do to just cram all of that into one small section, or not small, but one like layout. You could have the, X-Wings and snow speeders flying around, getting chased by TIE fighters. There's so much you could do with that. I also just love all of the character, not classes, but like all the different customizations in that game. Like the shock troopers were so cool. All the jetpacks and jump packs and everything was so cool. Still haven't moved into large scale builds. Yeah, it's hard. It's fun. Like I really enjoyed making Theed, and it was also nice because I started when I did, so I had enough time to build it where I wasn't killing myself. Like Endor, the one that I did the year before, I didn't even have enough time to make a series on it, which killed me because I love to make series, especially on large scale things. It's just fun, but it's also nice to for me to be able to go back and re-experience building it. So that killed me because I didn't even have enough time to make a series on it. So that, I think, it was unfortunate because that build was still probably, I don't know if I can't decide whether I liked the communications base that I did in 2021 or that Endor build. I think the Endor was much more skilled, and I think it was more aesthetically pleasing with all the trees and everything. But I think it just kind of fell flat because I wasn't able to do a series on it, so nobody knew about it. No one knew it was coming. I posted some work in progress photos on my Instagram, but there's a lot of people obviously on my YouTube that don't follow my Instagram, so it just kind of came out of nowhere, and I think it kind of fell flat because of that, which stunk, but it is what it is. Commission guys to design custom figs. Yeah, there isn't a whole... It's not a very big market for that because it's custom. It would be custom molds, not even just printing different heads or that kind of stuff. All of the aliens are so weirdly shaped. There's the one guy that has the super long neck, that can jump all over the place, and then there's the squid dude with a million tentacles and arms, and then there's the guys that have like the long heads that were, I don't even know why they were there, they sucked, but they had like the longer heads, they were like aquatic almost with the little dangly things on the sides. But I don't know. And then I guess there was the two Ithorians, which would be only two of the main characters from that you could even build, but yeah, there's not really a huge market for custom molds for minifigures, and usually there's a few people that do it well, but usually the people that do it doesn't ever really look all that great. It's either like 3D printed and you can see all the different lines and layers because they don't have their printer like aligned correctly, or they just print it too fast. So, but you know, I was actually looking into printing my own custom figures, not like designing molds and stuff, but printing figures for stuff that Lego doesn't make. But the printers are so expensive. I wanted to get a UV printer because with that you can, you know, just load up any file that you want and you just print it. The problem with pad printing is you have to make different pads for every single color, which then that gets expensive and also very tedious because you have to print the same piece like 4 different times. And if one of those one of those times gets misaligned, then the entire figure is just toast. But yeah, those are too expensive, unfortunately. I would have loved to do that. Favorite set is either the Treehouse Ideas or Fort Legorito Old Western theme. I have not seen that. The Treehouse Ideas set was pretty cool though. Also hard to have any detail texture in the box. I've thought about building it too. Yeah, that's the other problem. It's all just kind of the same wall pattern. You could do, I mean, you could make it accurately, but there's just not really a whole ton there to go on. Hi there, how's your day been? Uploaded my first freeform mock in a long time today. Oh, cool. My day has actually been pretty good. As I said earlier on, this is like the first day off of work that I've had in a long time, so I'm really enjoying that. Being able to actually like sit and build for once. It's really, really nice. So that's why I decided to do this little live stream. Just sit and build a set. I do appreciate that they used these pieces on the wings. I think that looks really, really nice. Just for the details, these things looks really cool. Do appreciate that. I feel like that's something Lego would never have done a few years ago. They're slowly starting to come into the greebling community. They're definitely a few years behind, obviously. And they have so many restrictions with making things, you know, sturdy and all that, but I think this is a new piece. Could be wrong, but I think it is. Like the T6 shuttle has some greebling on it, I think, which looks pretty good. It's nice to see that from Lego. We got 4 of these. Ah! It's a pretty nice looking wing, honestly. They got like the angles down, which is kind of the most important thing. And it is pretty thick, but it's not terrible. There aren't that many ways to make it thinner. So, and using snot is a little bit thinner than this, but even that is still pretty thick. So this is Probably my least favorite part is they use the mixel joint on this, which I don't know. Is it different? Is the spacing different from these regular hinge clips? I don't think it is. If the spacing is the same between hinges and the mixel joints, I'm going to switch that because the holes in the studs are really ugly, and it's also a different color. Where's the camera? Right here. The holes are really ugly, and this is dark gray, which really stands out. So if I can just switch that to the hinges, I think the set will look a million times better. I don't know. There must be some reason why they did that, but I'll have to check that out. Sulfur Fields version 3. That's what I'm saying. Yo, Panda, how's it going, man? Red Wolf looks good. Have you thought about doing Keeley? Test it, please. Oh, on this? On these guys? I will. At the end of this build, I will. Because I'm going to have to dig to try and find the right parts. But I will definitely try and do that. Once I finish this wing, I think I'm going to take like a, I don't know, 5-minute break or something just to switch the battery in my camera, because I've had a few times where I've been doing these streams and it's like just died, and then I have to scramble to try and switch the battery. I'm good. How about you? I'm doing pretty well. So confused why they refuse to make those mixel joints in other colors. Yeah, I know. They always, the receiver versus, like the male versus female is always in different colors. I don't understand it. It limits things so much. But if I can switch that, I'm definitely going to. That's honestly really the only major issue that I have with the set, is just that piece is a different color. Like the cockpit is pretty chunky and blocky, which is kind of expected for a Lego set, but that it being a different color is just such a sin. It's so ugly. I mean, I don't see any reason why it couldn't be those hinges, so I'm gonna definitely try that out. Does look pretty good though, honestly. Traces it out, the shape, pretty well, so shout out to Lego for that. Alright, now I gotta make another one. Yeah, I mean, mixel joints are really useful for getting weird, funky angles that you can't really get with any other kind of piece. But it does definitely throw it off a little bit with just the lack of color choices. And now, because I have 4 of these black studs left over, I'm wondering if I missed a step, or if those are all just extra pieces, which they very well could be, because there are a few black studs in here. I think they might just be extra pieces. I'm not seeing any black studs, really. Yeah, okay. They're just extra. Alright, so for the last bag, I'm gonna move these things over. I can attach the wing. Looks pretty cool. The cockpit, I think, is definitely a little bit too big. I think it's a little bit out of scale, but it's pretty good, honestly. I mean, doesn't really, this actually might be minifigure scale. Now that I'm looking at it, it does not seem that big. I'm actually like, when I first got this, I wasn't disappointed. Obviously, it was, you know, it was great to get it at all, but I was a little like, it's a Lego TIE Fighter, you know, how good or whatever can it be? But I'm actually fairly happy with this. This makes me kind of just want to make a little bit cleaner cockpit and just call it a day. Just use it as a, maybe not in mocks or anything, but just to have it on display, because TIE Fighters are so iconic. So, alright, I'm going to quickly switch the battery in my camera. Give me like 5 minutes. So, switched it back. Hopefully, hopefully it works again. Show dark brown mixel joint in the chewy render, but they're still in light gray. That stinks. Thanks, Bobo. Yeah, I might do Keely sometime. Pretty neat. Painting with red does leave pink tint on the plastic. Yeah, I did a fox a long time ago, and it looks pretty cool, so I'm probably just gonna leave it. But I'm sure if I tried to wipe the paint off, it would be totally pink. True, but we need more custom phase 1 representation in my opinion. Indeed, I'm open to doing a recolor. Very big fan of recolors. Yeah, I wanted to do, that was actually mainly what I wanted to do with the custom printing, was make the like phase 1 clones, because nobody makes them. Except for like CAC, who doesn't make all of them, and CAC I do like CAC, especially the fact that it's pad printed, and the quality of it is very good. But the actual design of the visors of their phase 1, I'm not the biggest fan of. Their phase 2, the new phase 2 that they did, looks really, really good. Actually, probably my favorite phase 2 now that you can actually buy, since Lego is so crazy expensive, and I don't like the new phase 2 style that Lego is currently producing right now, so that's probably my favorite that you can currently buy. But I did, while I was switching the battery, grab the pieces that I needed to try and switch that out, so after I build this wing, I'll give that a shot. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the new Stormtrooper, unfortunately, the helmet. It's cool that it's dual molded. I do appreciate that. I think the details look better being dual molded, and I do like the fact that there's, you know, the color in the back of the helmet, but I don't know, I think it's just too big. I think the trade-off, man, my camera is so bright. The trade-off, I think, of having the helmet be that huge is just not worth it. I think the Rogue One Stormtroopers are still the best that we've gotten, so some things to go, or some things that we, you know, like and can take from, especially like the new Scout Troopers. Those are fantastic. But I think just the Stormtrooper mold is a little bit too big, unfortunately, which does kind of stink, because that's the Stormtrooper that they're going to be producing now. So the Rogue One Stormtroopers are just going to be that much harder to find. They're already like $6 to $8 a piece, which stinks. Animated P2 mold from AV Figures is personally my favorite. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that one looks like. I've probably seen it, but I'm not, you know, that well versed on my AV Figures. I do like that they print now. I was never a fan of decals. I'm just personally not into that. So the fact that they print is definitely much more enticing to me if I was going to go that route. Although I was looking at, for one of my last videos that I made, I was looking at Captain Locks, just because I had made my, you know, whatever 5-minute purist version of Captain Lock. And I was just looking to see, you know, what was actually out there. And to be honest, wasn't really a fan of the Captain Lock that they made. They missed a bunch of the details on Captain Lock. And I understand why they did the olive green, but I don't really know if that's the correct color choice. It does look, he does have, you know, that kind of a color, but I think regular green might be a little bit more accurate, or if you just wanted to go with the sand green so that it matched with the Horn Company Troopers that Lego already produced, I think that would have. Oh, okay. I found where the studs are missing. I found it. I didn't realize that there were studs on the bottom of these round plates. Yeah, so I saw that and I was a little bit disappointed because Captain Lock is such a cool looking character. And that's kind of one of the only Captain Locks that I've seen be produced. So it's a little disappointing. But, you know. Family Guy Trooper, yeah, it does. It looks exactly like the Family Guy Stormtrooper. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing, honestly, it looks more like a very, very stylized cartoon than it does the actual source material that they were going off of. I think I want to continue doing these live streams. Maybe get, you know, a little bit higher production quality. I want to get like an actual webcam instead of just, you know, using the computer webcam that just came with my computer. But I do like doing these. They're definitely a little bit easier than, you know, sitting and filming and editing and all of the production quality that goes into making like a full scale YouTube video. So I think when on the days or the weekends that I just haven't had enough time throughout the week to make a video, to just sit down for a few hours and just do a live stream, I think that will be kind of more of a main staple of the channel, just to keep up the activity. It's normally, why do I not have, oh, there it is. Normally what happens is I'll make a big project and it usually is for a convention. So I'll make a big project, I'll spend a couple months on it, I'll make a good series, the series will do well, it'll, you know, kind of kickstart my channel again, get traction, and then I'll just kind of let it fizzle out. I won't really do anything with the traction that I got from the series. It'll just kind of sit. I won't post anything. I won't really have anything going on, and then everyone will just be like, all right, well, it's fun while it lasted, and then just move on to the next thing, which kind of stinks. So this time I'm trying to continue to stay active, which is why I've been putting out the videos that I have. It's not really normally what I make on my channel, but I just want to keep something, just have some kind of activity. And I am, like, I'm working through what my next project is going to be. I've already decided on it. I have to figure out, like, the scale that I want to go for, and just certain logistical things like that, and also the figures that I want to have in it. So I'm working through the technical details, but I do have my next project in the works, which I'm actually really excited about. I don't know if I've ever gotten a suggestion before this that has really made me stop and think and be like, that's actually a really good idea. Somebody commented on one of my videos to do it, and I'm not gonna, you know, reveal what it is quite yet, but somebody commented for me to do it, and it made me just sit there and be like, that's actually a really good idea. So working out the last few kind of logistical things before I jump into the next one, but I do have another series planned. Normally the other thing that I've been doing is just I'll do one series, like one per year or so, and then I totally missed the one for Endor, but normally I'll do one series per year, so I'm gonna try and do one smaller-ish scale series right after the conventions. That would just be to, you know, build and just kind of stay up to date with the hobby and everything. And then once I finish that, then I would kind of transition into working on like the main series, what I would hopefully bring to a convention and display. So I think that's going to be like my formula going forward. Could invite people like Jay does. Yeah, that's another thing that I want to figure out. I'm not sure how to do that anymore because if you know how, DM me because I definitely would like to do that. I used to do that with Hangouts all the time, but because Hangouts got shut down, I'm not really sure how to do that. I think there's a way to do it through Discord, like just have a Discord call and then have that audio be like put through the encoder somehow, but I haven't, had the chance to sit down and actually like research that. But I definitely do want to have guests on the stream and just be able to talk about different topics and maybe even like invite people from the stream that want to join. They're just watching and want to pitch in and stuff. There was one stream which was just a joke, but I actually very much enjoyed it, where we all played Fortnite. Oops. And we would play a match with somebody random from who's watching the stream, and then after the match is over, we'd get somebody else in and just play matches. And that was honestly one of the most fun streams that I've ever done. We ended up winning a match at the end of the stream, which was pretty cool. But it was just like a joke, but it was actually really fun. So something like that would be kind of cool to do again, but obviously not Fortnite. But yeah, if you know how to do the what did I do here? How did I screw that up so badly? So bad at following directions. I'd also like to try and figure out how to get, like quiet background music just to fill out the gaps of when people are talking and to kind of cover up any miscellaneous background noise. Unfortunately, right now, which I think they're moving out, which is kind of nice, but right now the people underneath me in this apartment make a lot of noise, so it does kind of stink. But I think they're moving out, so it is what it is. But just quiet background music just to fill out the gaps in conversation would definitely also go a long way. And I want to figure out how to do all of the stream when somebody subscribes to have it pop up on screen and all that kind of stuff. I had it set up on here at one point, but I think it's been so long and I just don't even remember how to do it anymore. So I'm gonna have to sit down and figure all of that stuff out too. But now I do have, like, I have a whole dedicated room to build stuff, which I've never had before. So I think that will also go a long way to, fuel my passion in building and all that stuff. I'll have more space and time to just put into this. So once I can kind of get this all set up, I actually spent some time this morning putting stuff into these bins, which you can kind of barely see over here. I now have all of my bricks of like different sizes just sorted into here, so I can pull out the drawer and bring that over instead of, I used to have a bunch of bins, which that got really annoying because there was just so many of them to try and keep track of, and half of them couldn't even fit as many bricks as I had, so it was like, just was not ideal. So I'm happy to have this thing. I want to get more of these stack-ons too, so that I can just kind of have all of my pieces sorted and I won't have to just go through dig through like unsorted stuff. I'll just know exactly where everything is. So this year, while I'm setting up this room, I think that's going to be one of my main focuses, is just putting everything to where I know where it is, and all of that will just kind of go to make the building process and all that just go so much easier and smoother. Alright, we're almost to the point with this set that I can see if those hinges work, which I really hope they do. That would be really nice, because honestly, that is the biggest problem with this set. Cockpit is a little chunky, but I can definitely overlook that. Dump a bucket of marbles into your bathtub at 3 a.m. and then they might quiet down. Honestly, I think that might give them the idea to do the same thing. It's like little kids, and dude, they just run all day long. You can hear their feet pitter-pattering all day long, which I get it. Like, they're kids, they want to get their energy out and stuff like that. Like right now, I can hear somebody walking underneath me. But like, dude, you gotta take your kids to the park, man. Like, you gotta get them some exercise. They gotta get out of the house. They got them cooped up all day long in here. They're obviously very clearly bored. So I'm just waiting for them to move out. I think they're in contracts to, you know, pass over the keys to somebody else, which would be great. But also, like, drag the dining room chairs all over the place. You can hear them like squeaking on the floor. So annoying. Could do an updated studio tour. Yeah, I definitely plan to once I kind of get this whole room set up. I also got a bigger table, which is wood, so it's a lot more stable and sturdy. So now when I build things that are bigger, the gaps between the leaves of the table and stuff, because it's wood, it won't like make creases or anything. The table I had before was plastic, so it would kind of like bend a little bit in the middle, and it wasn't a big, huge problem, but it was a little bit annoying because, like, especially when I was building Theed, I could not put the entire thing onto the same table because it didn't have enough space. So I'll be able to build bigger things, which I won't do. I don't know if I'll ever end up actually using the extra table space that I have, but I'll be able to go all the way around it because I put it right in the middle of the room. So now I can go to each side to work on it instead of having to try and figure out how to twist the thing to work on the back. But now you can't see the front. It's just, this will definitely be nicer. So I'm really excited about that. So we got this. Oh, actually, I guess I do need more of those things. Need 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So I do need a little bit more. But I'll try it out on one of these at least. That way we'll know. And we need to do the last one. I'll use these on the back so you can't see it quite as much. What are these for? Oh, these were the extra ones that I got. Okay, I'm stupid. Alright, those are the extra ones that I got. Okay, so we have the TIE Fighter now completed. It's pretty cool. The cockpit is definitely a little bit overscaled, I think. I think that's really the only part that's out of scale. I think it just looks a little bit too big. But the wings are actually pretty cool. I like the extra details that they have with the tiles and different kinds of plates that they have, which honestly looks really cool. So now I can load up this thing with the spring-loaded shooters to get those green laser cannons. Oh yeah. And then have them stick out a mile on the back. I'm gonna take these minifigures out. Actually worked a lot better than I was expecting. Alright, I'm gonna try to man, this thing's hard to get off. I'm gonna try the hinges now. Because if this works, then I will be very, very happy. one looks so discolored. Let's switch that out. There we go. Please work. It works. Yeah, it totally works. I don't know why they did that. Look at how much better that looks. I really don't get it. I mean, that looks infinitely, I can't even speak, infinitely better. Maybe because there's like a tiny bit of a hole there that this piece is thicker, so it kind of covered it up. But, I mean, if you're at any 3/4 angle, as long as you're not straight on, which then you can see the gaps in the wings and at the corners, so I don't know. This looks so much better though. So that's really cool. I'm actually really happy about that. That was my biggest reservation with the set, and now it's pretty much not a problem. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna put this discolored one at the bottom. Pretty sweet. Look how much better that looks. You don't have this random gray thing. I'm actually gonna put this after the stream is over. I'll dig through and find the other pieces, but just two while we're still here. I'll switch this out so that at least the front will look nice. I really am at a loss. I can't think of why they would have done that. Alright, that's pretty cool. Can put the instruction manual back in the box. I always save my boxes. I don't know if that's really there are a lot of people that do that, but I always save my boxes. I think they're so cool. This one also has a nice design. It has the Death Star 2 up here, which looks pretty cool. And then just the space behind there. It's a nice gradient, so it's a pretty cool box. Honestly, I'm actually very pleased with this set. I was not expecting to really like it all that much, but I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with this. The wings don't bother me nearly as much as I thought they would. The big issue with the wings is just the back doesn't have the right details on it, but yeah, I'm actually really happy with this thing. I'm gonna put the pilot in here. To fully enjoy my Lego set. This is fun. I actually really enjoyed this. This is a nice little build, and it actually looks really nice. And that one mod with the mixel joints for just regular hinges made a big difference too. It's pretty sweet. Show front page of instructions. Oh, instead of the box. Front page of the instructions. I'm not sure what you mean, honestly. the cover? Like this? I don't know. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, that is about it. I do have 2 other sealed sets, although I think I'm going to keep them sealed. I have the I have one of these because I already bought the set, and the 501st, the original 501st Battle Pack. This one I'm probably just gonna keep sealed forever because I'm not really a huge fan of the new 501st Troopers. The jetpack guy is kind of cool. That was probably the only reason that I would get open this, and I guess to just have regular grunt 501st Troopers. But they have the new battle pack, which is already on sale for like $16, which is $1 more than they normally are. So I'll probably just keep this thing sealed, and I don't even know what this thing goes for at this point, because oh, the QR code. Yeah, I thought it might be something with that. I don't even know what the QR code does. If you want to steal it, you can. I don't I don't even know what it does. So I wonder how much these things are worth. I might actually look that up. But I have that, and then the duel on Mandalore I still have sealed. I might, if I don't know, if I do a contest or something, just use this as a prize. Although I think most people that want it would have already got it because it's only $20. But that's my sealed set collection. Not very extensive. I'm actually gonna Google this now because I'm curious. How much is a sealed 501st Clone Trooper set? First Legion. Condition. Search. Sealed box. Shelfware. Let's go by the US because other places have different kinds of things. Minty box. Sealed condition is $40. 37. So this thing is not really worth that much, but whatever. I have no real reason to open it. I was kind of expecting it to be more, honestly, but I don't really have a reason to open it, so I'll probably just keep this thing sealed. Maybe I'll give it as a giveaway prize. Maybe that will be better, but I don't know. Anyway, those are my sealed collections. Not very extensive. So, that is, I think, everything that I had for the stream. I'm not going to pop those things open. There's no reason to, so it's the only set I had to build. Although I think I will, I don't know if I'm going to make this weekly because I don't have that much money, but I might try and do this kind of thing. Just go pick up a little set and just build it. Have a little live stream, but that is it for this one. Thank you, especially Emil, for staying as long as the stream was going, and just everybody that tuned in. I'll see you guys all in the next one. So thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.